Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Chantilly's Kitchen Hop, and I'm your host, CHANTILLY'S. And my channel is dedicated to gluten-free, vegan, lifestyle recipes and sharing with you guys while we rock out in the kitchen. And this week I have a great recipe to share with you guys. We're going to be doing gluten-free, vegan pita bread. It's absolutely delicious. It's perfect to go with hummus. You can make open-faced sandwiches, pretty much anything you want to do with it. So I'm sure you're going to want to stick around and learn how to make this. So if you like what I'm doing, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. See you in a sec, guys. Bye. So, hi guys, I hope everybody's having a great day today, and thanks for joining me today. So, I know most of you probably know this is Chantilly's Kitchen Hop, and I'm CHANTILLY'S, and we're going to be doing gluten-free vegan pita bread today. And I know usually pita bread is vegan, but we're just making sure that it is, and we're doing gluten-free, and these are really fun and delicious. Honestly, they don't usually last very long in my house right after they come out of the oven because I think they're best when they're warm. So let's go ahead and get started, guys, and you're going to really like this one. So for starters, you guys know I usually forget this. We are going to preheat our oven to 400 today, but don't worry because I know it's super hot in Arizona. We're only going to have it on for a little bit. These only bake for about 12 to 15 minutes at the most. So luckily, it's a really low time. So earlier in the morning would probably be a good time to do these right now because it is so hot. So after we get preheated to 400, let's go ahead and get just, a medium-sized to larger mixing bowl. And we're going to start with 2 cups plus 2 tablespoons of your gluten-free flour of choice. And just show you guys what I'm using, I got the Bob's Red Mill all-purpose, and I do like this one, especially for breads, where I tend towards the 1-for-1 with my cookies and stuff. I can't really explain why. I just feel like this one has a little bit heartier flavor to me, so I really like this one. So we're going to do 2 cups, spoon it in, and then level it off with your knife, and 2 tablespoons because it just works out that way. I know it sounds a little weird, but trust me. And then next we're going to do 2 teaspoons of baking powder. 2 teaspoons of that, and then we're going to do 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Almost said baking powder again when I know that's not what we're doing. So we're going to do some baking soda, and then I'm going to switch to my half teaspoon. We're going to do a half teaspoon of salt. And if you want to do just a quarter, that's totally okay too, but do need just a little bit of salt in here that really helps with the flavors and stuff. It really brings everything together. And then we're also going to do if I can open this, a half a teaspoon of guar gum, xanthum gum, or I used to have that not xanthum gum one. It's just an extra leavening agent, so it just helps to make sure we get some extra air in these because, pita bread should be a little bit fluffy. Fortunately, with the gluten-free, we don't get that pocket, but they are still absolutely delicious to eat with hummus or open-faced sandwich or anything else you can figure out to do with them, or I just eat them hot. So let's go ahead and whisk together our dry ingredients just real good. Make sure everything's mixed around. Make sure I didn't forget anything. Lately, I feel like I've been forgetting like one thing every time, so I actually wrote it down this time. Alright, so we got that all nice and whisked together, and then we're just going to go ahead and grab a bowl for our wet ingredients. So for our wet, just want again, a medium to large size because we're actually going to be pouring our dry into our wet. So we're going to do a cup, but it's a half a cup of vegan milk of choice, and I'm actually doing the nut milk brand, which is a newer one, but I really like it. It's really creamy. It has a more milk-like texture to me, which I have heard some vegans say they don't like it for that, but I do. But you can use cashew milk, soy milk, any vegan milk that you have in the house. We're going to do a half a cup of that, and then we're going to do a half a cup of plain vegan yogurt. And if you don't have yogurt in the house, you can do just another half a cup of milk, but the texture will be a little bit thicker. So I do really recommend doing the yogurt. So we're going to do just a half a cup of that too. I need my little spatula to get it out. Just make sure we want all that goodies in there. So get that. and we're also going to do a tablespoon of coconut oil. Oh, get this giant thing over here. Just make sure if it's not room temp, so it's liquid, it is melted, because you don't want it solid, because that won't mix very well. So we're going to do a tablespoon of that. Just go ahead and put that in there. Let's go ahead and give this a whisk. Sure, just everything's all mixed up nice and good. And I let my wet ingredients sit out to room temperature, but if you guys did have them cold, I would recommend just popping this in the microwave for about 30 seconds, so it just gets a little bit warmed up, and it's actually a lot easier to mix in and incorporate with the flour. But I'm not going to do that because, like I said, I had mine sitting on the counter for about 30 minutes, so they're nice and room temp, so they are already a little warm for me. So we got our wet bowl, so we're just going to pour our dry right into it. And then let's go ahead and get our spoon to stir, and then we just want to mix this until the flour is incorporated, because the more mixing you do, the denser your pita bread's going to be. So we really want to make sure that you're not over mixing. I know I've said that before, but this one is actually like really important, because I have definitely over mixed my pita bread before, and it's a completely different texture. I mean, the flavor is still really, really delicious, but it's just not quite the same. So it'll still be a little crumbly, a little sticky, but it's just pretty much to the point that our flour is disappearing, because then we're going to roll them up into our little fingers. So just about right there. So give you guys an idea what I'm saying. So it's still a little crumbly looking. You can still see a little bit of the flour kind of sitting on top, but it's mostly incorporated, and the rest of the mixing we're going to do with our hands. So I'm going to show you guys how we're doing this next step for making our pitas. So we're going to want to get our cookie sheet, baking sheet, and we're going to line it with parchment paper. And a lot of times I do skip that, but with these I do find it is a lot easier to flip them and get them off of the pan, and it makes sure you get that really nice browning effect. So I do recommend the parchment paper, and we're actually going to sprinkle it with a little bit of flour just to help with the baking, and it really helps get that nice, give you guys a look, nice kind of rustic look to your pita bread. So just sprinkle a little bit just around. It doesn't really need to be a lot, kind of like, you know, when you sprinkle your counter when you're going to roll out some. So just a little bit. Right, and then we're going to grab some of our pita. So we're going to do about a tablespoon size, because I like mine a little bit smaller, so I kind of, I guess, would say I make mini pitas, but if you want them bigger, just go for bigger balls. So we're going to start with about a tablespoon, 1 inch, and then we're just going to flatten it down. I'm going to put a little bit of flour on my fingertips, because this does help with this part. You don't want a lot, but just a little bit. It'll help with the sticky, trust me. It helps keep them looking very rustic looking too. And then we're going to just flatten them out to about a 1/4 inch to 1/8 of an inch, so we don't want them too thick. They are going to fluff just a little bit, but you know, pita bread is kind of thinner. And they don't have to be perfectly round, even though I do try. So give you guys kind of an idea about how thick that's going to be. Just press it out, and then just go ahead and lay it on your sheet, and then I'll show you guys with a couple more just how we're doing it. I guess let's try making a bigger one, see if we can. So it helps, we're just going to get it in a nice little ball, and then just start flattening it with our fingers. You kind of start at the center and work your way out. It does make it a little bit easier. For some reason I turn them when I make them. I find that it helps. I don't know if it will for you guys. I do find if you flatten them on the baking sheet, they do get denser, and they actually do kind of stick to the baking sheet. So I would do this in your hands. I know it's a little extra, it gets a little gooey, but that's part of the fun of baking sometimes, right? Let's give you guys an idea. There's kind of another one. I think I tried to make him a little bit bigger, but he didn't end up turning out much bigger. So we'll just do one more and then I'll tell you guys how to bake them and eat them. So give you guys an idea, when I'm getting them into the ball in my hand, see they are a little bit crumbly. They're actually, dough is kind of sticky too, but you can just tell they're forming, sticking together when you push it, but it's not a solid dough like a cookie dough and stuff like that when you work with it. So kind of give you an idea of what you're working with. And you can always play around, like I said, if you overmix it, overdo it, they'll just be a little bit denser, but there's nothing wrong with the flavor. Okay, should probably put it in front so you guys can see what I'm doing, huh? Okay, so there we go. So you probably get about a dozen of these, depending on the size that you're doing. If you do them smaller, obviously a little bit more, but I usually get about a dozen to about a dozen and a half, and we're going to cook them for 10 minutes at the 400 that I told you guys to set your oven at. And then at 10 minutes, we're going to just go ahead and pop them out. You'll notice they're starting to get, just a little bit fluffy. There's a little bit of air pockets in there, and the bottom should start to get, see if I have one, just a little bit brown. It's not super important if they do get brown, but after about 10, you're going to go ahead and pull it out and flip them, and then you're going to put them back in for about 3 to 5 minutes. And I like mine a little bit more well done and make sure that my centers are cooked, so I tend to do the 5 minutes, but you might want to check them at 2 because your oven might cook a little bit hotter than mine, so you just kind of keep a little close eye on them. But at 15, they will definitely be done, and then just pull them out, let them cool for about 5 minutes if you can, and then just enjoy them with some hummus. I like to make open-faced sandwiches with mine. It's even good with some jelly, so you can kind of do a sweet treat with them. Some vegan cream cheese and sliced strawberries are really good on pita bread too. So I'll give you guys a peek at just, these are my done ones. They're nice and rustic because they have that little bit of flour on the bottom. But an idea of what the center looks like. It is fluffy. It's absolutely delicious. And it goes perfect with hummus. So it's just an absolutely nice treat to have. There's nothing like fresh baked bread, even if it's pita bread around the house. It's absolutely my favorite. I made these yesterday, so I had some to show you guys, and I have to admit, I ate half of them because they were so good and they were nice and warm. And then they store for about 5 to 7 days. Just put them in an airtight container or a Ziploc bag, and then you can either heat them up in the microwave for just about 10 seconds, or you can pop them in the toaster oven for just like a minute or two, and they get nice and warm again without getting too crispy. So that is our gluten-free pita bread, guys. It was pretty simple. I think we only had about 7 ingredients, so it's nice and minimal. You don't have to have a lot of stuff around the house, so I really hope you guys try this one. I think it's perfect for the summer with lots of fresh veggies and fruit just around and stuff. And like I said, if you're living in Arizona like me, you might want to do it earlier in the morning just because of the oven, and it is getting super hot this week. But if not, you can always save this one for later. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this recipe and that you guys try it. And if you do, let me know. Maybe you made some changes. Maybe you're going to throw some seasoning in there. I would love to hear what you guys do. I love hearing my feedback from you guys. And if you have any ideas on other recipes you are looking for, please let me know. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And as always, I have a great rest of your week, guys. And don't forget to check out my YouTube channel. I have a new one on there, Chantilly's Kitchen Hop. So make sure you go check it out. Have a great day, guys. See ya. Bye.